Okay, it is time for piano. Let's see here. Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Saturday afternoon. It is time for Adults and Teens Piano. I'm glad you could join me this afternoon. First thing, if you can like this video and share it with your network, I would really appreciate it. Remember, every time you share it or like it, it helps me reach more piano learners across the globe. So that helps me quite a bit. The next thing is if you could subscribe on YouTube, I'd really appreciate it. I am hovering around 1,800 subscribers right now. So if you can help me hit 2,000 subscribers, I think that would be so much fun. I think when we finally hit 2,000 subscribers, I'm going to do a bonus song lesson. So anybody who wants to join me for that can do that, all right? Thanks for that. The third thing is if you haven't joined our private Facebook group, you're missing out, okay? We do lots of things in that group. Everybody posts videos of tricky spots that they're having in their music. They post their videos for review. I provide feedback. I also do some really fun things like just bonus type stuff, right? I'd love for you to be a part of all that, all right? Just send your request into Encore Music Makers. You'll find it on the Groups tab of the main Facebook page, all right? And last but not least, I am on Patreon, right? So Patreon is a platform for creative people like myself to sort of earn a steadier, more reliable income. Since I'm a donation-based studio, I rely heavily on your generosity to keep these lessons coming. So if you are inclined to do that on a monthly basis, take a look at patreon.com/izzychia, and you can find a tier that works for you. I have tiers as low as $3 a month, the cost of a coffee, all the way up to $50 a month. It just depends on what works for your budget. Thanks again. All right, so I think we're ready to get started. Are you ready? Go ahead and pull out your books, everybody. Our Adults All-in-One course, we are going to turn to page 87, okay? 87. Now, on page 87, we had learned our Hanon, right? Remember I talked about Hanon exercises being fantastic to build up those muscles in our fingers and our wrists, right? Now, what's special about this one on page 87 is this is the Hanon exercise that focuses on the interval of a sixth, okay? And the primary thing that we had been learning these past weeks has been the interval of a sixth. So let's go ahead and turn to page 87. We are going to play through hands together our Hanon number 6 so that we can feel really, really good about it, all right? Let's switch to piano view. Okay, so here I am in piano view. Everyone can see my piano. So what we're going to do is we're going to look there at the music and notice that our right hand thumb is going to start one octave below middle C, okay? I'm going to put it there. My left hand pinky will be on the C below that, okay? This exercise begins with the interval of a sixth. So I'm stretching my thumb and my pinky up to the A from the C, okay? Now, after that, we're going to be practicing going up stepward this exercise until we go up 2 octaves, okay? So if you're ready to do that with me, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to count off. 1, 2, ready, play. Lovely job, everybody. Yes, it's really, really important for us to understand the hand-in exercises because it's giving us that range of motion within our wrists and all of our fingers, okay? You know that finger fives and finger fours on both hands are not as strong as the other fingers on your hand. That's okay. That's a normal thing, right? But it's sort of exaggerated when you're learning something at the piano and actually utilizing those fingers and muscles. You're like, oh my gosh, my fingers are so weak. That's okay, right? That's the point of this exercise, is to work those muscles so that they get stronger and it can translate really well into your piano music, okay? Great job on that. Now, the two songs that we had assigned for last week were page 88. We had London Bridge and Michael Row the Boat Ashore, okay? These two songs were only 2 lines each, okay? But with the repeats, it sort of makes them longer at 4 lines, okay? Now this is testing our skills in reading music with those intervals of a sixth, right? Including a sixth by stretching your pinky in your left hand, finger 5, and your thumb in your right hand, your finger 1. Just sort of expanding the range of motion of those fingers. Now, if you look at London Bridge, we're in 4/4 time, okay? The first time you play it through, it will be forte, but the second time will be piano and an octave higher. So as we do the review session right now on London Bridge, make fully aware of those changes as they're happening, okay? You ready to do this? All right, let's switch to piano view. Okay. So I am here with my right hand. I have my triad C, E, G. I also have my finger 4 on my G above middle C. Typically, remember, you would find your pinky on your G, but this case we have our 4 there because we're expanding that pinky up a note to an A. So just make sure you're aware of that. All right, I'm going to play it through. If you're ready to play it with me, go ahead and get into position. I'm going to count off. 1, 2, ready, play. Repeat with an octave higher. Very nice. All right. How do you feel about that song, huh? That London Bridge it's very helpful because it is such a familiar tune for everybody. But when they have those different stretches for your fingers and those intervals coming sort of as a surprise at the end there, it can be a little bit confusing. So just pay close attention to how those notes are written on the staff, okay? Even though it might say finger 1, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a C. It could be something different, so you just have to be aware of that, okay? Excellent work on London Bridge. Now, let's see if we can keep that momentum going. We're going to go to Michael Row the Boat Ashore, okay? Now, looking here at the piano map that's at the side of the title, I do notice that we have an interesting hand position for the right hand. We will be beginning with a finger 1 on middle C, but then our finger 2 is going to skip the D, and we're going to put it on the E, all right? So it's putting you in kind of a weird position, but that is okay, all right? I'll switch to piano view so you can see it. Double check with your own hands and fingers, and let's play through it with that repeat, okay? All right, let's do this. Okay, so looking here, we've got our right hand finger 1 beginning this piece. Then our left hand is going to come in the 4th measure with a 4th, okay? So let's see how this one goes. I think you're going to do a wonderful job. I'm going to count off, okay? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Left hand. Repeat. All right, bravo. That was really wonderful. Oh, I keep having to switch. There we go. Yeah, that was actually really good. I'm proud of you guys for getting past this song too. Very nice job. Now, we have those 6 pretty much solid in our brains. So bravo to you. You've passed both London Bridge and Michael Row the Boat Ashore. Okay? Now, we're getting 1 song this week. The reason being is that it's pretty long, okay? And it has sort of an incorporation of various elements that we have already learned thus far. So I don't want to overload you, of course. So we're going to stick with this 1 song. It's called Blow the Man Down, all right? It's on page 89. Let me show it to you. There it is. So Blow the Man Down is, I think, sort of like an ode to pirates. So it's actually quite a fun song to play. You'll notice that here in just a little bit. But let's talk about a couple things in this song first. Now, the tempo that's written says moderately fast. So eventually, when you're good with your notes and you're happy with it being played hands together, it will be a rather quick song, okay? The next thing is we have our time signature. We have 3/4 time, right? So if you remember what the time signature does, we're going to have 3 beats in the measure with the quarter note still getting the beat. Okay? Wonderful. The next thing that's important to note is we actually have an incomplete measure at the beginning of this one as well, okay? Since it's 3/4 time and we only have a quarter note in the first measure, we're going to be counting the first 2 beats out loud and then coming in on the 3rd beat. So that way you're fully aware of what's going on, okay? Now, if we look at the piano map written at the side of the title, we're going to figure out our hand positions here, okay? It looks like we're going to be left hand finger 5 on B and C in the bass clef, which is below middle C. And our right hand will have our thumb, finger 1, on middle C and D. So your thumb's doing double duty, just like your pinky is in your left hand, okay? Now, that's really important to note because our very first note written there on the treble staff, which comes in on the incomplete measure, is a G, finger 4. Remember, typically we have that finger 5 on that G, but in this case, because the piano map is giving our thumb double duty in the right hand, that places our finger 4 on the G instead, okay? I don't want any surprises, so that's why I want to tell you all these things before we get started learning, okay? Now, I want to play through this song, just the right hand to begin, okay? As I play it through this first time, I'm going to be saying my note names, okay? So if you have a pencil handy, which some of you might, go ahead and jot down some of those note names as you hear them, okay? I'll also play it again, right hand by itself, with the finger numbers. But remember, the finger numbers are going to be switching because of that double duty in your thumb, okay? Let's do it the first time through. Okay, so I am here. I've got my finger 4 on G above middle C, and I have that incomplete measure to begin. So let me count off, and I will be saying my note names for the entire 4 lines, okay? Write them down as you see fit. 1, 2, 3, ready, play. G, G, A, G, E, C, E, G, A, G, E, eighth notes, C, E, G, A, F, E, F, D, 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 F, E, D, F, E, D, A, G, 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 F, E, D, E, C. Very nice. You guys are doing a fantastic job. Yes, absolutely. Now, looking here at our other stuff, remember, we're also going to go through with our right hand finger numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay? Everybody feeling good? Yes, it looks like I had a little bit of technical issues. The internet is getting weird. All right, let me see here. If at any point this is freezing up, please comment and let me know, okay? I know some of you guys are watching. Okay, so let's try this again with finger numbers. Wonderful. So here we are with our right hand again. We have that finger 4 on our G. Okay, we're really going to try to get those finger numbers right. I'm going to count off now. 1, 2, 3, ready, go. 4, 4, 5, 4, 2, 1, 2, 4, 5, 4, 2, 1, 2, 4, 5, 3, 2, 3, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 5, 4, 4, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1. Excellent job, yes. Okay, we are still just, here we go. It seems like to be a camera issue. That's unfortunate. Okay, let me switch here. Okay, I'm hoping that it sort of resets. It looks like it's lagging quite a bit, so I apologize for that. That's something that seems to be a frequent thing that happens when we're having live stream classes. Now, if I wasn't doing an actual live stream and I was recording these offline, we wouldn't be having issues like this, okay? So just keep that in mind. Bear with me as we're working through them, okay? Now, I would very much like to go through the left hand of this piece because it is interesting and it's got some cool patterns going on in it too. So if you want to work with the left hand with me, let's go ahead and do that, okay? If I do encounter those weird laggy issues again in piano view, I might end up keeping it in this view because it seems like the only issues are in the above piano view. So I'm hoping that we don't have that again. But if we do, I'm going to have to keep it in this view. All right? I'll switch to piano view. If it gets weird again, then I'll switch back. Okay. Oh, it's already doing laggy again. Let's see. All right, let's just try one time through with the left hand, okay? If it gets to be a little laggy, then we will do our best, all right? Now, if you know that the incomplete measure at the beginning, there is no left hand note, okay? It's just by itself for the right hand, and it comes in with the finger 5 on your C, okay? I'm going to play through it. Let's do our best. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, ready, and play. C, third, C, 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 rest, C, C, G7, G7, G7 again, and again. One more time. Now all together with the fermata. Continue, G7. And with the C major. Excellent. That was beautiful. It wasn't as difficult as a lot of us were probably anticipating, but that's probably a good thing, considering that some of the other pieces that we had learned were quite difficult. I think the main issue for this piece is going to be putting it together, right? Putting this song together is really going to test your skills in having both hands with moving parts. It's not like we just have a tied note in our left hand and that's kind of all it's doing, right? We have to sort of keep the effort and keep the energy in both hands, activating those parts of our brain. So it's important. Now, you did notice at that last line, the first measure we had the fermata, right? So can you recall what the fermata did? Yeah, so the fermata is sort of like music's version of a dramatic pause, right? So you're going to suspend time for a little bit longer than the value that's written. So in this case, it's a dotted half note. Typically, you'll hold that for 3 beats, right? But in this case, because we have a fermata, we're going to extend that by maybe 2 or 3 extra beats, right? It's kind of up to the performer's interpretation, but use your judgment and then you can continue on in the piece after you have your fermata, okay? That's a good reminder. Another really interesting thing that we had in that last line was we actually had a ritardando, okay? So if you can recall the ritardando, that is the Italian name for slowing down something, right? So imagine pumping the brakes on the car so it slows down. Running out of batteries, right? These are the types of things that you can picture in your head while you are playing a ritardando in music, okay? So keep that in mind for those last 2 measures because it's extended throughout those 2 measures to give the effect of slowing down, okay? Now that we've got this and these wonderful musical terms down, I would like to play Blow the Man Down for you, hands together, all the way through, so that you can hear what it's supposed to sound like, okay? Hopefully our camera cooperates and we don't get any lagginess, but if it does happen to be laggy, I will make sure afterward to post a video of this piece being played hands together by itself, sort of like a bonus. That way it's easy for you to rewatch, okay? All right, thank you so much for sticking with me. I know it's kind of tricky. All right, let's see how this goes. Here we go. All right. It already seems laggy. Goodness gracious. All right, it's frozen. I'm going to switch back to this one. Okay, you're going to have to listen carefully. I will post a separate video later, okay? Here we go. This is Blow the Man Down. Use your ears, all right? 1, 2, 3, ready, go. There you go. All right, we got through it from frontward view, which is good. I'm glad we were able to do that. Yes, and I did realize that when I got to the end of it, I didn't really do a good job on the ritardando. So I'm going to have to work on that myself. And when we come back here on Mondays for practice with me, we're going to work on these things separately, okay? It's going to be a really, really great song for this week. So keep it hands apart for the first half of the week so that you get really comfortable with it. And then slowly, slowly start introducing hands together, remembering all of those extra elements that make it special, okay? All right, you guys did great. All right, so there's no theory this week, so you got lucky. Woohoo! All right. And that's a good thing. It gives you a little bit of extra time to focus on that song, Blow the Man Down, okay? Now, quick reminder, I am on Patreon. Patreon is, of course, this wonderful platform for creatives to gain a steady income, right? So this is your chance to really help me make this thing a more solid, steady stream of income for myself. I've put quite a bit of work into this, and you know, I think about it all the time because I'm just very passionate about the teaching. I'm passionate about building relationships with people. I just got like 2 more students from Canada who wrote me emails, so I'm really happy to have them. I also have a new student from the Philippines, so welcome. I'm just so happy to have you guys. So if you want to help support me, visit patreon.com/izzychia. I love to have you guys. I'm at 39 patrons right now. I would love to have more. All right, thank you so much. All right, last but definitely not least, we have our music quote. All right, so for today's music quote, we have a lovely one from the American actress Cicely Tyson. And this is what she says. Challenges make you discover things about yourself that you never really knew. That's true. When you really encounter something difficult or challenging or stressful, it tests you in a way that you never really knew that you had that kind of grit, that kind of strength, that kind of resilience, right? Especially during times right now. I mean, the pandemic, I know here in the United States, we have a very heated election season. Those things can be very challenging, right? But I like that we sort of use the piano and we use music as a way to not only escape from those challenging things, but also to persevere and to help us understand and realize that anything could happen in the world, but you are still making time to make yourself better, to do something extraordinary during this free time that you have. And I'm totally here for it. I'm loving it. You guys have done an amazing job. All right, keep up the good work. Thanks again for joining me today for piano. I love it every week, seeing you guys and seeing you interact in the private group and on YouTube. stick around. It gets fun. It gets interesting. We're going to keep learning. We're going to keep practicing. We're going to keep making some amazing music. I'll see you guys very soon. Take care. Bye.